A week ago, we here at the Four Boxes Diner broke the story about how the ATF made critical admissions about the role of AR-15s in American life. And this week, we are going to break what we think is another major story involving the Second Amendment. And that is, we now believe, with a high degree of confidence, we know who is going to write the Supreme Court decision in NYSERPA versus Bruen. Hey folks, I'm Mark Smith, a constitutional attorney, a member of the United States Supreme Court Bar, and a proud gunner. Huge news today. We think we now know who is going to write the Supreme Court decision in NYSERPA versus Bruen. Huge news. And if you're new here and you want to hear more Second Amendment information you can't hear anywhere else, please subscribe to the Four Boxes Diner. Here's why we think we know who will be the justice that writes the NYSERPA versus Bruen opinion and why it's so important to the scope of the decision and thus the scope of your rights under the Second Amendment. You see, the Supreme Court term starts the first Monday of every October, which it did this year in October of 2021. The term goes from October 2021 until the end of June 2022. That is the term in which the Supreme Court hears cases, listens to oral argument, and issues decisions. Every month, there's approximately 9 cases argued before the Supreme Court. 9. How many justices are there? There are 9. Why does this matter? Because as a matter of housekeeping, usually what happens is that the Chief Justice, in this case John Roberts, tries to make sure that the workload of the Supreme Court is evenly distributed. All the justices have approximately the same amount of work. It keeps the workflow going just like any other business. Now, why is this relevant? You see, in the month of November 2021, which was the month that NYSERPA versus Bruen was argued, there were 9 cases argued that month in that sitting. Right now, every Supreme Court justice that sat that month has written a majority opinion. That's important because John Roberts, the Chief Justice, tries to make sure that for every sitting, meaning every month, one justice gets one opinion from that month to write on behalf of the majority, the main decision. Right now, every single Supreme Court justice has already written an opinion based on the arguments in the month of November 2021, with the exception of 3. Judge Sonia Sotomayor, who will not be writing the opinion in NYSERPA versus Bruen because she's going to dissent. She hates guns. She will not be in the majority, and guns in the Second Amendment will win the Bruen case, in my opinion. And Justice Sotomayor will not write the opinion because she's going to be in the minority. She's going to dissent, but she won't write the opinion that affects your rights directly. Who are the last justices who have not written an opinion? The answer is Justice Clarence Thomas has not written an opinion yet involving the cases argued in November 2021, and the other justice is Amy Coney Barrett, has not written an opinion based on that sitting in November 2021 just yet. So this means that the justice that is almost certainly going to write the NYSERPA versus Bruen opinion is either going to be Clarence Thomas or Amy Coney Barrett. Now, either justice will be fantastic in their opinion in support of the Second Amendment. They both have powerful records in support of the Second Amendment. We know that Clarence Thomas, in his opinions to date, has been a robust supporter of the Second Amendment in every case. And in several cases that have gone to the Supreme Court but the court refused to hear, Clarence Thomas has written powerful dissents on things like assault weapon bans that the court refused to hear years ago, and Thomas has dissented from that, saying we should hear this case and rule in favor of the gun owners because this is crazy that the Second Amendment has become a second tier right in the pantheon of the Bill of Rights. So we know Clarence Thomas is robustly in support of the Second Amendment, as his opinions and his decisions and his support in Heller, McDonald, Caetano, and beyond. So he will be, I suspect it will be Clarence Thomas writing the decision in NYSERPA versus Bruen, because the only alternative, as I see it, is Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who, by the way, is also a powerful proponent of the Second Amendment based on her record. And why do I say this? Well, you may have seen me on TV talking about this during the confirmation hearings of Amy Coney Barrett before the United States Senate, right? After the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Well, Amy Coney Barrett, I would say, likely got on the Supreme Court mostly because of a decision she wrote as an appellate judge in a case called Cantor versus Barr. And what was Cantor versus Barr about? Cantor versus Barr was actually about whether or not a non-violent felon had the right to get his gun rights back. And she actually dissented and says, yes, under the text and the history and the tradition of the Second Amendment, which we've talked a lot about in this channel, nonviolent felons who don't have any propensity for dangerous because they cheated on their taxes or they engaged in Medicaid fraud or they did something, some white collar kind of crime thing, but there's no propensity of dangerousness in a person's background. She opined that meant they should get their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms back because there's no basis in American law or American history for denying people that are not dangerous their right to have guns for self-defense. Now, that was what Amy Coney Barrett wrote as an appellate judge. So she would be a very powerful author of a decision in Serpa versus Bruen. But I don't think it's going to be Amy Coney Barrett on this case. And here's why. Amy Coney Barrett is a great judge and will be a powerful Supreme Court justice going forward, in my opinion, but she's very junior. This is really only, I think, her second year on the court, so it's a very young and junior justice position to write an incredibly important, powerful, groundbreaking in some respect, famous decision, which is what Serpa versus Bruen is going to be, because they don't issue a lot of Second Amendment cases. So because of that, it's likely going to be decided by someone far more senior than a junior justice like Amy Coney Barrett. And that means it's likely, in my opinion, going to be Clarence Thomas writing this decision, which of course I think is very, very good news for gun owners in the United States. All right, well, thanks again for joining us here at the Four Boxes Diner. We hope you learned something here today, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And again, we'll see you next time here at the Four Boxes Diner.
Orders up. Table 2A.